scum, with their cups filled with rum, have stolen a page from the golden age. These scallywags and scum, with their cups filled with rum, have stolen a page from the golden age. From days of adventures, from times of old, these pirates have tales that need to be told. These scallywags and scum, with their cups filled with rum, have stolen a page from the golden age. These scallywags and scum, with their cups filled with rum, have stolen a page from the golden age. Ladies and gentlemen, pirates of all ages, welcome to the third episode of A Page from the Golden Age. In today's episode, we will be talking about the Robin Hood of the seas, the Prince of Pirate himself, Captain Sam Bellamy. Samuel Bellamy, more commonly known as Black Sam Bellamy, was not your regular bloodthirsty pirate that we are so used to hearing about. In fact, he was known for his rather generous and loving nature. He loved to steal from the rich, and his captors did not always meet a cruel and gruesome end, although none of them ever saw any of their money back. This is where he probably earned the nickname of the Robin Hood of the seas, and later on for his wealth, the Prince of Pirates. Sam Bellamy was born in 1689 in a little town in Hittlesley, England. In 1701, he joined the crew and started his sailing career during the War of Spanish Succession, in which he entered a boy but came out as a skilled sailor. In 1715, Sam met the love of his life, a beautiful young woman by the name of Mary Hallett, in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Over a very short period of time, the two lovers had the same vision, and that was to live a long and happy life together. But things were soon to take an unexpected turn. Sam promised Mary that he would return as a rich man, but for that she would need to wait, and so she did. Mary Hallett kept watch over Cape Cod with the hope of seeing her lover on the horizon, making his way back into her loving arms. While Sam was on his way to get rich, little Mary found out that she was with child. As a young unmarried lady back in that day, she could not easily go out spreading word that she was pregnant, nor would she be able to find a suitor to raise a child which was not his. Therefore, Mary Hallett had to lay low for a while. Due to the girl's absence and strange disappearance, the people of the village started gossiping, and we all know how beneficial gossip can be. Word started going round that she might be involved in dark doings, such as witchcraft. Fast forwarding 9 months, the girl gave birth to a beautiful child, but her joy would be short-lived, as one day her baby choked on a piece of straw and drew breath no more. Desperate and deranged, Mary cried her heart out. Later on, some people found Mary with the dead child in her hands and only assumed that this strange girl had killed the baby. Therefore, she had to be punished. She was sent to prison and tortured over and over again. But the spirited girl had also managed to escape several times. Some say that she had enchanted the guards and made her escape. The people of the town had had enough of Mary and her mischief, so they decided to end the witch's life. It is said that before she was to be executed, a well-dressed man with fine tailored clothes and a golden-tipped cane visited her and offered her freedom. All she needed to do was sign over the dotted line, and just like that, the girl had sold her soul to the devil himself. Her legend still lives on till this very day. In fact, it is often said that Maria Hallett, known as the Sea Witch of Billingsgate, still watches over Cape Cod, awaiting for the man who will redeem her soul, her lover, Sam Bellamy, causing storms and leading sailors to their doom in the unforgiving waters of Cape Cod. In the meantime, our pirate prince Sam Bellamy was on his way to find fortune. At first, he wanted to become a treasure hunter, seeking the recently sunken Spanish fleet that had unfortunately encountered a hurricane. Many men were trying to find this treasure, hoping and wishing that it would be washed up somewhere near shallow waters. Among these men were Sam Bellamy and his now best mate, Pelgraves Williams. Sadly, their adventurous expedition came to a quick end when the Spanish returned to those waters looking for their own shipwreck. Now, Bellamy and Williams had only two options: return back home empty-handed or give piracy a go. And so they did. This is where he had then became Black Sam Bellamy, mostly known for refusing to wear a white powdered wig and letting his own curly black locks flow in the wind. It is known that Bellamy and Williams joined the famous crew of the privateer Captain Benjamin Hornigold and his first mate, the young Edward Teach, later to become the infamous Blackbeard. Together, they sailed and plundered many prizes. The captain was happy with Sam as he proved to be a valuable sailor and leader. Sadly, this had come to an end over a disagreement when they approached a British vessel. Captain Hornigold was a privateer under the British rule and therefore was not allowed to attack any British ships, and he did so out of loyalty to the crown. But this loyalty was not shared by the crew, so Bellamy, followed by others, went their separate ways. Sam Bellamy was elected as captain and sailed away on two of Hornigold's ships, the Sultana and the Mary Ann, which was under the control of his first mate Williams, along with 90 sailors under his command. In the meantime, back on British soil, a man by the name of Woodes Rogers was gaining popularity. He wanted more security on the seas to make trading easier, therefore seeking the extinction of pirates. Sam Bellamy and other pirates of that time rebelled against his decision, as a pirate would do. But the Sultana wasn't big enough to fight off the British Empire, so he sought a bigger ship. In 1717, a slave ship by the name of the Widder was on its way to Cuba after her venture in Africa to gain slaves. Captain Bellamy heard of this and made it a point to acquire this ship and make it his own. In Cuba, Bellamy and Williams followed and chased the Widder for days. Bellamy managed to catch up to this beauty. The aim was to do as little damage as possible, for damaging the ship would defeat the purpose of the capture. Luckily, the Widder surrendered. As Sam expected, the ship was not just filled with slaves, but also with thousands of golden coins, which he kept for himself and the crew. As for the previous captain of the Widder, he was allowed to live and was given the Sultana on which he could safely sail back home, obviously clearing all its gold-filled holes and also adding an extra 10 cannons to the Widder. After his capture, Sam Bellamy did not quit. He was doing well, as rich as a man could ever dream to be, so he kept on plundering for a while. In April 1717, Captain Black Sam Bellamy was on his way home, seeking the warm arms of his loving lady Maria Hallett, unaware of the misfortune that lies there. But at this point, fortune was just a distant whisper. The devil is said to have claimed Maria Hallett's life, and it was Davy Jones himself that was to claim Sam Bellamy's life. On the 26th of April, the Widder, along with most of its crew, got caught in a terrible storm in modern-day Wellfleet, Massachusetts. The mast broke and pushed the ship towards waters where it capsized and sank. Only 2 sailors survived. Captain Sam Bellamy wasn't among them. In the following days, the shore was being filled with dead bodies and gems and jewels from the Widder. Sadly, the body of the pirate prince Black Sam Bellamy was never recovered. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings another end to another episode from a page from the Golden Age. Next week, we will be back with another adventure. But this week, we would like to thank our sponsors, Libertalia, for sponsoring us with jewellery, as usual, for the students of MCAS who are helping with editing and filming this episode, and for Jolina Boutique Living, who are allowing us to film in their lovely venue. Stay tuned for next week for another episode of A Page from the Golden Age.